Oh, we're not doing the countdown.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are. We are doing the countdown, dag nab.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 58. Welcome to episode 50.
59, 59.
Welcome to episode 5,322. I count by seconds. Anyway, welcome to episode 59. What is really holding you back? Sometimes we are on a roll, sometimes we are in a slump. What about you right now? Is there something holding you back? Is it an old belief from the past? How you were brought up? Fear from a traumatic experience? That sounds like a bunch of bunk to me, Tellman.
Oh, does it
We'll
now?
talk about it live during today's episode. Let's go. We're going to talk about mindset, hypnosis, self hypnosis, affirmations, or wherever this conversation leads us. And we're going to do it all in less than 342 hours. So
That's
let's
right.
go.
I mean, it does seem a little unusual. I mean, it seems like people that are into things like hypnosis and magic hang out together.
It does it?
I mean, it does. It does seem that way. It seems like there's a certain type of crossover.
Well, yeah, okay. Here we are.
Here we are.
If
Here
you
we
say
are.
so,
So,
if you say so, I don't know. Like, do I know? I mean, it's different though. Especially. I mean, you don't do stage hypnosis.
not
It's not a
comedy,
hobby.
not comedy, or not for the sake of performance, but I mean, I've hypnotized many people from stage.
I would say, um, it is an interest of magicians.
Hmm,
I think that hypnosis is of special interest to magicians because we focus on um, human how the human mind works and how attention works and we call it misdirection, but it's really directing their attention where
that's
you
right.
want it to be, and there's a lot of things that illusions and realities that people are living in and things like that. I think that might be the some of where the crossover is, because there's we have an interest in it, we study it a little. I'd say a lot of us know more about hypnosis than a layman. I think that's probably true. I don't know if
Well, I
I
mean,
hang out with too many hypnotists other than you.
yeah, but I see hypnotists and magicians crossing paths on a regular basis. Like, Scott McFall's an example of both, right? And I've had so many friends that are hypnotists, and a few friends that are interested in performance magic, I'll just say. But when I first got interested in hypnosis was in college, and the reason is because I was studying cross cultural shamanism. So I was studying trance state, and I was trying to get as close to studying real magic as I could, like what's going on beyond the physical, what's going on underneath what we see and are interacting with just on the physical level. And I was interested in peak performance and brain waves and flow state. And I was a very competitive long distance runner, and I was interested in astral projection and um, all these types of and just like what the real magical world, what is all the unexplained stuff that's out there. And so
By
um,
the way, since there's a few people watching right now, I do want to mention we'd be happy to address any comment you make. So wherever you're watching this, I'm not sure that we see every comment from every place that it is, but
no, we definitely don't see every comment.
so the best place is what? Facebook. If you're seeing it anyway, just make a comment. Maybe we'll see it, and if we do, hopefully we'll see it, depending on where it is, and we'll address it. So what do you think's holding you back? What are you feeling? How do you resonate with that? And maybe we can address that a bit.
Absolutely, yeah. If you have any questions, or if you're a fan and you want to jump on and say hi, and actually have a little conversation, shoot Harris or I a message, a direct message in Facebook, and we'll give you a little link where you can jump on and join us on video for a few minutes.
Will we? Okay. I'll
So
wait for that then.
the so I was personally interested in all this stuff. I discovered hypnosis and NLP as a way of entering the trance state and intentionally altering what was going on with your brain waves and your awareness. I wrote a few papers on hypnosis and actually used self hypnosis in order to start getting better grades, because I had always struggled in school. I had struggled with homework. I had struggled being able to read. After about 15 minutes, all the words would just start swimming around on the page, and the ADD would kick in and whatever. And I I found that hypnosis, for me anyway, is modern Western shamanism, or slash modern Western meditation. Entering the trance state with a purpose, for a reason, with a specific outcome in mind. And
Doesn't it have its roots in some pretty kooky places? Like, didn't it start with like mesmerism and I forget what it was. Like, I researched it at some point, and it was it was somebody from Europe that came over to the U.S. with this way of programming your mind.
yeah,
But it was but wasn't there something kind of weird about it
yeah,
at
yeah.
first?
So Mesmer had all sorts of interesting things going on with magnetically charged water, and he was doing all sorts of healings. And so mesmerism it predates hypnosis or hypnotism, but hypnosis is the state between being awake and asleep. Right, it's the snooze button state. It's the state we drift off into as we're
A
going
lot
to
of you
sleep
are
at night.
experience that state when you watch our show.
Hopefully you're more aware when you're watching the show, but it's that state that you go into sometimes when you're watching a movie and you completely are absorbed in it, and you lose track of time and you lose track of the outside reality. It's moving into a more dreamlike state. And hypnosis is going in there on purpose. And then the interesting thing is, when you've bypassed the conscious mind and you're in this super relaxed state, you can learn really, really, really fast. That's the magic of hypnosis, is accelerated learning. And so there are different ways to bypass the conscious mind that far predate Mesmer. Like, every culture in the history of humanity has been using the trance state and the state between being awake and asleep to gain insight, to heal, and to work through challenges or difficulties that,
Really?
well, I mean, it's every variation of tribal shamanism, energetic healing. Like, it's all very, very similar. Like, there are
Was
different.
tribal shamanism a lot of like peace pipe and ayahuasca and stuff like that, or was there other aspect, or I guess the now I'm thinking of, like, I feel like I'm going to be culturally inappropriate or something, but like the dance, like some of the rain dances must get people into like some sort of trance state, right?
Yeah,
Um,
very much, very much, and there are different reasons for this, but like, a lot of it is to get connected to spirit. It's to, like, get out of the day-to-day garbage that we all get sucked up into, and like reconnect with what's important. Um, so shamanism is a American English word to describe thousands of different spiritual cultural practices that are outside of the standard Western framework, basically, of Christianity. Of course, there are some other very, very well established religions, but shamanism is basically talking about moving into this trance state for the purpose of healing or gaining knowledge or wisdom that's beyond what we can access on the physical plane,
and
right?
and and
And
back then, they used some of them. They used magic tricks, like things
well,
that they knew.
that's what I was getting at. Is
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
is
Because
that
I was in Athens, And I mean, this is different than shamanism, okay? But the religion of the time had a few magic tricks, like literally, like no. So, for instance, they had a mechanism, technology, that if you sacrificed a lamb at the altar in front of the church, the temple, the door would magically open. Well, guess what? There was actually a mechanism that when the whatever got hot enough, that the whatever was being sacrificed, that was being burned, and it got hot enough, it sent heat down a pipe and around and whatever, and cranked and essentially it was a gas open door or a steam opening door or something like that, which nobody knew about. But they were like, I mean, can you imagine that you don't know that, and you're like, God has answered our
Did
prayers and
you
opened the temple, and same
you
with
know
shamanism.
you know that you know that Facebook reel that I sent you last night with the magic trick?
Yeah, the one from Aussie Win.
Yeah, did you watch the whole thing or just the beginning?
Probably not the whole thing, because I
So
probably know the trick. Like,
yeah, well, that's why I asked. Is so I didn't know the trick, right? And it was there was this guy that you know from the magic world that was doing this magic trip with what's his name, Huberman, and and by the end, Huberman, very smart, very perceptive, very aware, intelligent guy, was completely blown away by the magic trick, when the card kept on showing up in his wallet and whatever, exactly. And but what that did is it bypassed his conscious mind, because his conscious mind couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. Okay, and that's what hypnosis does too. Is it bypasses the conscious mind. It confuses, distracts, or relaxes the conscious mind. So the conscious mind acts as a filter or a sieve that is meant to catch all the little bits that are coming in here that are BS, that we don't believe is true, that go against our beliefs and our understanding of ourselves, of the world, of how everything works. And the conscious mind, will kind of like panning for gold, like all the little all the stuff will go through, and then you're left with certain bit. And so it I guess it's more of like a colander. Yeah, it's more like a colander. Anyway, the point is that the conscious mind helps to separate out the stuff that we believe and the stuff that we don't believe. And when we reject the stuff that we don't believe, that helps to reinforce who we are and our understanding of the world. And it decreases stress. It makes us feel like we've got our shit together, right? And so but the problem is, learning is the opposite of that. And when we learn something new, we're open. We're not arguing with the information that's coming in. We're not trying to oppose it. And that for example, when we have a marketing student or an entrepreneurial student, this, Harris, like the difference between someone that is open and willing to be coached and ready to take advice and ready to take action on it, versus the kind of person that will just argue with you every step of the way and tell you all the reasons that it won't work and tell you all the things that they've already tried that are similar and how it didn't work. Like, that's just a mindset issue. But people that are stuck in the it didn't work, they're not open. They're using their conscious mind to deflect all of the awesome opportunities and knowledge that might come in. And that's what keeps us stuck, right? Is our holding on to the belief of how things are. And so often, I mean, as mentioned in the description, this does come out of some sort of traumatic moment in our lives. It's something that a message that we believe that was repeated 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times by our parents, or it can come out of like being in a car accident when we're young. It doesn't have to even happen when you're young. It could just be something that leaves such an impression on you that you then avoid that, or have some level of anxiety and fear around that type of thing for the rest of your life, unless you do something to rewire yourself. And this happens so much with money mindset, dude. So what I discovered over time is that, like, people get stuck in these financial plateaus, their norm for their standard of living, whatever the number is, that whatever the amount of money is, that like we all have this like set number that like when we're not in growth mode we default to, right? And that but then we seem stuck, like we can't break free, like we can't break out, like we're in a rut, like we're in a trap. And that happens to everyone no matter what level of success you're at. It's just that those numbers are different for people. And so how do you reset those numbers to be what you want? How do you reset that level of income or level of standard of living to be what you want? I mean, and hopefully you work with someone that knows what they're doing with it. That's been my
Well,
experience.
what happens? Well, I don't think it. I don't think it happens for everyone. I think I can give you two people that I don't think it happens for.
Okay.
Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I think that there's something like or they've overcome it. Maybe it happened for them at some points in their life, but they've clearly like they believe they can do everything. They both believe that they're. I mean, Elon especially believes he's saving the world, and if anyone is, I mean, he's got a pretty good resume going towards that direction, and I mean,
Well,
that's why he's like, that's why he's involved with Trump and the government all of a sudden is because it actually aligns with that, And by the way,
right,
I'm not an Elon Musk fanboy. It's gotten a little weird, and I'm certainly not a Trump fanboy at all. I really dislike. I don't like the box at all. I don't like that. I don't like how hard the world's becoming, how
right.
hard assed the world's becoming, and I do, maybe it was already there, but people are meaner, I think, you know. So anyway, but my point is that I have to look at them and say, well, wait, hold on a second, do
Yeah,
they?
well, Harris, I would go so far as to say that we all have blind spots and limiters that we can't break free from, including the most successful people in the world.
Hmm.
And perhaps they don't have those same blind spots or limiters around finances, but like take a look at their relationships, take a look
Mm.
at their friendships, take a look at their family relationships, take a look at their health, take a look at stress levels. Like look under the hood, and what you'll probably see is that everybody's messed up pretty bad in ways that we can't necessarily change directly just through brute force on our own, right? And at the same time, there are always exceptions. I mean, there are extraordinary human beings on the planet who can do extraordinary things. So,
Fair.
exceptions or not, we're talking about what most people, where most people get stuck
We're
most of
talking
the
about
time,
me and
right?
you and the people watching this
Well,
show, and
exactly,
and
right,
I
right.
don't
Like,
think Elon's going to be watching.
just like there are some extraordinary athletes, that are going to be operating up at Olympic level, athletic performance with a combination of genetics, attitude, and like years of training. They're, they can do things that are seemingly way outside of normal human range, right? Like there are always exceptions, people who can do really incredible things, but
So look, I mean, I know that I've got some, I have, so I want to be, I've wanted to be for a very long time. I want to be, a successful performer, right? And I also have a belief that it is more difficult to make a a good income, quarter of a million a year as a performer than it is to be a marketer. I mean but before I went into digital marketing, before I went into internet marketing, before I had my own company, I had that belief. And now it's fucking with me now, man, because like I still, like I've rediscovered that desire, and I literally like I need to make money right now because I'm paying for two kids in college, and I just use the word need. I know, but I mean that this is reality. That I want to actually. You know what? I don't have a need. The truth is, I want to pay for their college. I want that to be something that I gave them, and in 10 years from now, when they are talking to all their friends that owe $200,000 because they had to take loans out to go through college, they'll then then they'll appreciate it and let me sleep on their couch if I need to. Uh,
Right.
no, but seriously, so like that's definitely something that I don't know where I picked it up, because I also have a belief that I can do anything. I got that from my mother. Even apologized for giving me that belief recently. Like
That's
she
funny.
she literally, like, she was, whatever, her own perspective and her own, uh, you know, looking in the mirror of her, reflection. She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I told you you could be anything." And I'm like, What? I'm really glad that I think that, and so but
I,
and I think,
I, I don't recall my parents ever telling me that. I think that would have been awesome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
You can be anything, do anything,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it wasn't a regular
To
thing,
Harris's
but
mom, like that was a really good thing to tell him.
yeah, yeah, exactly, mom. That was a good thing. And but my grandmother also, was very. I remember her mother being very positive like that as well. Um, and they're the ones that asked me when I was, I don't know, 12, 13 years old. I remember being in the, or less, probably less, being, it's really interesting. Do you have this? So I had a memory of being in a talent show for with magic, that I went on my own, and I registered at the I don't know, the local community talent show. It wasn't even for school, and my mom wasn't even able to come, and I did magic. And I remembered it being, I must have been, 7 or 8 years old. Wow. And then I won 3rd place, and a few years ago I was digging through boxes, and that 3rd place was from whatever year, 1980, so I was 12. I was in 6th grade. You know what I mean? Like, like my memory was like, I thought that I was much younger when I had that, and then, so I'm kind of rethinking now, when my grandmother, I was sitting in the back of her car, "What do you wanna be when you grow up?" "I wanna be a comedian." And I know I didn't say magician because it was after that experience, because that experience made me wanna be a comedian more than a magician. And I, I, nobody said, "Oh, well, you'll need to," And I have, these are very Jewish grandparents, so stereotypically, "Oh, aren't you going to be a lawyer?" No, none
Right.
of that. It was, they were, and although there's plenty of successful Jewish comedians as well.
True.
So, but whatever. Anyway, and then I did kind of blaze down that trail for a while, and then in my late 20s, um, you know, I got into, well, I don't know. I mean, whatever, started businesses and whatever, but I don't know. I'm so, like, right now, I'm a little bit, you know, scattershot, right this second, to be honest with you. And I don't know. I think 2 years ago, after Andrea left, I was, not because she left, years before that, 3 years before that, I'd let my weight really go, and those and that's a negative cycle, where you and I was in my late 40s, and I guess this is just what aging is, and I was just
Right.
getting slower and
Complacent or whatever.
faster,
Yeah.
and then I changed my mindset. I got into, and I don't really know what got me. Like, I know in life, there's been a lot of times in life that I all of a sudden, seems like I make a decision. So, like, whatever it was, 2 years ago, I was trying things over the 2 years prior to that. I would try to lose weight. I would try to get good habits, and dude, I did, like, I thought I was depressed, and I've come to you with depression a couple times over the
Yeah,
years,
yeah,
and
we've talked about
you're
it.
like, I'm not. I don't think I've not quite been clinically depressed, but I'm like, this isn't, like, I don't want to
Yeah,
wake up
no,
in the morning,
not feeling great. Yeah.
you know. And I've tried, microdosing, psilocybin for a bit, and that seemed to have a good positive effect for a bit, but and then I tried this and I tried that, whatever. I wasn't, and then I was, one day I was just like, I guess they say that going to the gym can help you with stress. Oh, let me go to the gym. And I literally went for 5 minutes. And then I was like, okay, I'll do this for 30 days and I'll increasingly go to the gym. And then by the end of that, before the end of that 30 days, I was like, let me contact this personal trainer that I think will be affordable and um, that I've been meaning to contact. And I contacted him and he got me on a nutrition plan. I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And that really was a huge, those two things were really huge snowball. And he's never been to the gym with me. It was more about food and
Right.
here's what you should do at the gym. And then I and I started doing Miracle Morning. Another friend told me to do, about Miracle Morning, which is, doing 6 things in the morning. Now, this does get into our conversation, which this is beginning to change the mindset. I feel like it's hypnotizing yourself over multiple days. I guess it's, it's affirmations every day, it's visualization every day, it's journaling, and and I did that for, probably over a year, and it had massive, massive positive effects. And and then lo and behold, same cycle eventually, kind of stopped doing the stuff,
Right.
and things still keep going good, but then something external, big enough external happens. My business, my site got the shit hacked out of it, and we rebuilt it on different servers, and we lost all of the internet just didn't recognize us anymore. Like literally Google's like, who dat? Seriously. Like, I mean, that's really, it's, it's easy to say, oh, we got hacked, but the choices we made to recover is really what ultimately, ended up being the death blow for the next 3 to 6 months. And now I'm doing all sorts of different things, and I'm quite happy that I am as well,
Right.
for the most part. Um, but during that time, I re-engaged with my passion and curiosity for performing,
Hmm.
and that I won't let that leave me now. So like that's kind of but now like I'm in this kooky balancing act that I'm having to work on my mindset, and the way to do that is with books and with you know I mean frankly 75 hard is a new it's a new entry. I can't I would be lying if I say I'm not getting benefits from it.
Yeah. Well, what are the benefits? Because I was going to talk about 75 hard. So we should interview Hal Elrod and Andy Frisella.
Sure.
I think it'd be intense. So, yeah, just so far we're like 20.
I mean, Hal's story. Hal is. Do you know Hal Elrod's story at all? It's really. I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I've heard it a
amazing.
couple of times.
It's
Uh,
basically like when he was young, he was in a really bad car accident. They didn't think he'd ever walk again, and he was like immediately like people thought like his parents and doctors, literally like his attitude was so good about it. They were like he's just not really listening.
right,
He's not getting it.
right,
And
right,
then later he got cancer, like
right.
after having a great life or whatever. And I think he was even on the Miracle Morning path before the cancer. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
wow.
And then yeah. And then he got cancer midstream and like serious levels of it, chemo and all, cancer
Yeah,
brain and that.
right,
And I listened to his story and I'm like, man, this is so inspirational. Please do not give me that universe so that I
right.
can be like, yes, I want to inspire people, but I don't want to have to go through,
Yeah,
you know,
well, that's the thing is often you have to, that's part of the deal,
yeah. Oh,
often,
anyway, so
is
75 hard. What are you getting from
so,
it?
well, I mean, yeah, so this is my third, so we're in phase zero of 75 hard, right? The first 75 days, phase zero. I've been through phase zero. I've completed phase zero twice, and then this is the third time I've done it. And for me, I mean, my girlfriend the other day was like, I'm getting up at 5:30 to go exercise, and she's like, "Are you happy that you're on 75 hard?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I totally am." And like,
Now make my breakfast, woman.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
kidding. Just kidding. Just
I'm
kidding.
usually the one who ends up making breakfast.
Hell
So
yeah, yeah. Same with the other guys, or I don't know about all of
and
them, but I
she's
know
still
one of
asleep.
them was
She's like
like,
still asleep. And so what's interesting is I find that 75 hard has every single time that I've done it, it's helped to prime the pump on my sense, my internal day to day, moment to moment sense of having a purpose and and embodying a purpose. And I think it's a very difficult but funny shortcut to getting in alignment and having that sense of purpose because it does it on a few different levels. The first is that you get super hydrated and it just blows a whole bunch of the time. Whatever diet you're on, if you're drinking a gallon of water every day and you're not drinking any alcohol, it blows a ton of toxins out of your body. Like the level of stress that your brain is experiencing just from the water alone and the exercise is just like you feel better. You feel more grounded. You feel more balanced. It takes a few weeks, but like you feel more grounded. You feel more balanced. And like I naturally wake up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning now. I've never been able to do that in my life before. And
no?
no, normally it's like 6:30. You know what I mean? Like I tend to get up at the last possible minute that I need to in order to get everything done. But like I wake up quick. I need 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night or I'm toast,
Yeah.
And so, but I've never been able to get up at 5 or 5:30 consistently, and definitely not naturally, where I wake up before the alarm. And so it gives me a sense of purpose in my day-to-day mundane actions and life, like because I have something I need to freaking do as soon as I wake up in the morning. I got to bang out my workout, like ideally before the sun comes up, because like I got another one that is coming up this afternoon, hopefully before the sun goes down. And like I got to deal with kids and carting them to and from school, and like theater rehearsal, and making dinner, and and running the business and all the things. And so I find that it and because it's like you do the same thing every day for 75 days, it's you don't have to do the same exercise, but it's like it's the same basic rules, right? You do this, you follow these criteria. It's like it establishes a sense of routine that I normally don't establish for myself. I normally don't have the willpower, discipline system in place to do that. But 75 hard, like
Well,
it
did it do that
works.
for you the other two times? Just not 5:30 in the morning wasn't necessary?
It wasn't necessary because my schedule was different, and the kids were whatever. Yeah, my
I
schedule
mean,
was
in
different.
fairness, I don't think I've woken up at 6 a.m. consistently any other time in my life. 7 a.m. with the Miracle Morning, it was mostly 7 a.m.s because I really didn't have to either. But now, I mean, actually, if it wasn't for this show,
That's why, actually, I realized that the other day. Tellman and Fellman actually is the actual reason I have to get up at 5:30 in order to get my exercise in because I can't do it at 9.
right,
And so having a 9 a.m. appointment that's like I have to do every day is awesome. Like
right, and well, but mine is at 2 p.m. and same time. We're just in different time zones, everybody.
yeah,
But and it's still because we have that solid thing every day. That's why. But I'm also like then yesterday I had a show last night that gets me home at midnight, man. And I'm
right.
and,
It's
and like
hard. It's a
and
hard
I'm
night.
done. I'm done with you, with other stuff at maybe 5 p.m. And then I need to be on a train by 5:30. So I'm really cramming a lot of things in. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't have. I'm going to read my book on the train. I have to do.
Why do you need to be on a train?
The show is in London, and I live an hour from
Oh, you have
London.
another show tonight?
No, 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 tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
Oh,
Last
tomorrow.
night. Last night. Last night. Last night. Sorry, I was just talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
I
I
was just talking about
misunderstood what
when
you're
I have
saying.
a show, all bets are off.
Yeah,
Like my
yeah.
after you. So I got to get stuff done. So I've shifted to make sure that I always get some stuff for Warrior Plus done before your 9 a.m.
Right.
before 2, and I really like to get both of mine in before basically so before 2 a.m. So and by the way, I'm probably gonna wait. I may wake. I'm willing to, and my this is crazy, dude. McKenna, she needs and prefers if I go to the gym with her, especially because it's dark out now when she comes home from work.
Totally.
So I'm willing to switch stuff around, but she hates that there's so many people at the gym right after work. So
Okay.
she's like, she asked me, "Would you be willing to wake up at 5 a.m.?" And without hesitation, I was like, "Sure." I
Cool.
mean, so we'll see if
I
she
love that.
wants to follow through with that. Yeah, me too. But I need to I consistently would want to do that every day. I don't want to be like
Right.
for on her 3 days a week whim,
Yeah,
but
yeah. You can't do that kind of crap on a whim. You have to schedule that
But
in. Yeah.
6 a.m. is really good for me because there's a class at 6:30. I really, really, really like classes at the gym.
Yeah. Well, cool. I mean, do what you got to do with it, but like you can do some classes, and some days you could go a little bit later, and 3 days a week you could go at 5:30 or whatever.
Yeah, so we'll see. If she starts getting me up at 5, then I'll readjust and I'll do my first workout at 5. Sometimes it'll be an outdoor if she's not with me. So
But
anyway, who cares?
the
So
important
what am I getting from it? Saying I guess similar,
yeah,
like I guess it's pretty clear, right, that I'm, between 75 hard. I mean, 75 hard is 1, 2, 3 hours a day, and then the diet that I have. I
is it
mean, I have
three
to make.
hours a day? How is it 3 hours? I mean, it's
Well,
45 minutes
I
of
mean, you
workouts
you would say,
twice.
well, you have to eat anyway, but there's no convenience eating for me with my diet. I have to prepare food. So that's I could do prep food, but I can't. I'm not going to go. I live 50 feet from a McDonald's. I'm not going to walk up to McDonald's and get some food. There's like 20 restaurants right near me. When I come back from a train,
So well, so this is interesting because I mean, I find that I spend just as much time preparing food now as I normally do. I'm just
I,
making different food.
Yeah, but then I got to jump on a train, and I was if I didn't prepare food for the train ride there and the train ride back, those are two. I because it's 5 hours separation. Okay, like from when I leave to when I get home, there's 5 hours separation. So those are two. I have 4 meals a day, 4 small meals a day. So those are it was five, but I just didn't have the time. So I can't grab. I don't want to grab something at the little convenience store,
Right. Totally.
which is what I was which is what I would normally do. So there's things
Okay.
that take a little bit of time, but it's not a lot of time. It's just reading takes, for me, it takes about 20 minutes to read 10 pages.
Sure.
Maybe
Yeah, depending on the book. Yep.
yeah. And then that's a half hour. And then the two
So, but
workouts are
here's
another
the
hour. So
interesting
that's
thing,
two and a
though.
half.
Like
Anyway,
however
my
much.
point is that and so I'm scheduling in my food. I'm scheduling this is the
Right.
time that I'm going to eat, you know. Otherwise, I'm like, because I don't know if you remember, but at first I would have a fucking bowl of food, beforehand.
No, yeah, it
Sometimes,
takes a while to like let it settle and figure it all out, though. But like, I mean, what's happening is the classic saying of like, if you need something done, give it to the busiest. Ask the busiest person you know. It's kind of like once you start structuring it and setting up and then committing to doing certain things and then doing them no matter freaking what, like you can get so much more done in a day than normal. Like it's just unbelievable. It's not just like a little bit more. It's like 5 times more. Like dramatically for me anyway. It just dramatically increases my productivity. Like really really awesome. And
yeah,
I like that we're doing. I personally love that we're doing 75 hard and Tellman and Fellman show like with such consistency. It's like, you know.
yeah, I know.
But so here's the point, guys: is like mindset, right? Is what's keeping you stuck, and um, a lot of it is that you're just choosing to stay stuck and you're not doing stuff in order to move toward where you want to be. Whether it's weight loss, whether it's like improving your relationships, whether it's you
And
know
and and by the way, so great people are stuck. I was definitely stuck a few years ago in not wanting to do something.
right.
I have had success with taking small steps and adding to it. And I've also had success with taking big, huge 75 hard type challenges. Like not 75 hard, but basically like weight loss. It's like, okay, it's all or nothing. Here I
Right.
go.
Right.
But honestly, that's not served me well over the course of my life, specifically with weight loss. Yes, I lost weight, but then comes back.
Well, that's the thing is, so this is a good argument. So there's the argument of, oh, well, you're doing 75 hard or blah, 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 whatever challenge. That's fine, but it's not sustainable. And the answer is, it's not meant to be sustainable, dumbass. And not you, but like it's not meant. It's a cycle. It's a push. It's a training
You,
program to help improve what is sustainable. Right? It's a push. It's an intensive. You do it, and you know what? As a result of 75 hard, I've now spent um, more than three periods of 75 days at a time doing yoga several times a week for the first time in my life. And like flexibility and stretching is what I need more than anything else, because my whole body has been wound super tight my whole life, especially my hips and my legs, with my like deformed legs when I was a kid and all this stuff. Like my lower body is like knotted up and super tight and super inflexible, and yoga is painful as fuck for me. And
mm,
so I normally like avoid it. And so it's been really, really, really good as an example. And like this time around, I've started going to the gym. I hate the gym. I don't like the gym. I don't like the people at the gym. I don't enjoy the machines. Like it's just not my style. But a guy in my men's group goes to the gym. He's significantly younger than me. He's like in his late 20s, and he's in much better like gym shape than I am. And I was like,
I
dude,
like I like the gym.
like, can we go to the gym and like show me what's up? And so he's like teaching me how to work out at the gym, and I've never really taken the time to learn how to do that before. So um, the small steps are important, and the daily routine is important, but like doing some big pushes, at least for some of us, is really important. Like I find that challenges and pushes, and like when I was in high school and college, like cross country races, like for me, that's like go for it. Like I love the full immersion feeling, just like letting it go is like hardcore. So
Yeah, I mean, there's something maybe not right with my mindset or
well,
my cycles. No, no, that I'm not going to do 75 hard again. Like I can, I like but that's the same with everything. I'm not gonna, I can't do Miracle Morning again for some reason. Like I did it for the amount of time that I did it, but like it gave me what it gave me, and I'm also I didn't feel like there's six specific things to do, and like I didn't feel like all six of those things are. I mean, especially visualization. I have aphantasia, so I can't see anything in my mind's eye. I just consider affirmation with thinking about the things
yeah,
to be the same. Um, but for instance, I'm already doing half of the stuff every day anyway. So, but I do get benefit from it. I would get benefit if I was journaling every day. I would get benefit, but it's interesting. Like I remember Caleb, I forget his last name right now, but you
Jennings,
and I, Caleb Jennings, and
I'm friends with Caleb.
he was like, "You want to lose weight?" And this was when I was not even trying really. Eat meat. Just only eat meat. Eat meat organs and blah, blah. And I'm like, uh, you can't sustain that, man. I mean, he's like, no, everything's a cycle. Everything in your life is a cycle, And I thought I think that's an interesting approach. Like so with 75 hard, that's how one of the other guys, he's done it. How many times is this his ninth, and when he succeeds, it'll be his seventh successful one?
I don't think he's done
Sixth or
that
ninth?
many. Maybe,
Sixth,
maybe I missed a detail somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, it's sixth or ninth. Those two numbers are.
Dude, I'm not normally like, I don't like normally doing the same thing over and over and over again. Like historically in my life, I'm a like agent of change. Like I love change. I love tackling new things, going after different things, learning new stuff, like taking the risk. Like I'm down. Jump into things a little too fast.
I think that's what it is for me too. Is like I want to do now. What's the next new thing?
Yeah, well, but here's the thing. I got so much freaking benefit out of 75 hard every time I've done it. Like, my life is better. I feel better about myself. I'm in better physical shape. I eat better. I eat cleaner. I'm more hydrated. I get more done. I generally start making more money when I'm doing 75 hard. Like, I don't drink alcohol. Alcohol is not, it does not improve my life when I'm drinking alcohol regularly, you know? And so, I guess, and because there are a couple other phases, I've never completed all the phases of 75 hard. And so there's definitely another level of challenge that I feel that I want. But like, I don't even care about the completion of it. The day to day when I'm in it, when I'm doing it, it takes about a week. But like after a week of doing 75 hard, I feel better about myself. I feel better about my life. I feel better about my progress, and I have more energy and less stress.
So
So like,
early on. So part of my thing with it too is like I think it's also not it's not for everybody.
totally not. Yeah, not
But
everything is.
not everybody's interested in the fitness aspect of it even. Like and I know fitness is a good thing, but like so like it if there are other challenges that I know of that people have done that have nothing to do with fitness, like, Ori Bengal.
Yeah,
He painted
such
every
a
day
badass. Yeah,
for 100 days, and this is years ago. Maybe it was more than 100 days. We'll have to talk to him. And now he's a, pretty amazing painter. Not just
right.
artist, I would say artist, digital
Yeah,
stuff as well.
yeah. I mean, but he is an artist and primarily a painter for sure. Yeah, and he uses a lot of digital. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have another friend who I think I've told you about. His name's David with a T. Weird, but
Oh, I don't
he's
recall
from
you telling me about David.
he put out a different song every day for a whole year and changed instruments every day. I don't know if he used
Whoa.
I don't know if he used 365 different instruments, but he challenged like so these are other challenges that you just can put yourself up to. Um, so I don't know. So there's definitely something there, right? There's it definitely works on us at some level. Even like Duolingo. I have a friend that's done 3,000 days of Duolingo in a row, and he's still not really fluent in anything. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Well, congratulations. You know what I mean? But I mean, whatever. He knows more about these languages than I do. You
He
know?
knows more about languages than he did 3,000 days ago,
Sure, sure.
right? Like if nothing else, keeping your brain stimulated. Like, man, we all know old people that stop learning, dude. Like,
Yeah,
we all know people that like once had a good brain on their shoulders and at some point got stuck in a rut and just stopped opening their mind to new things. Like, don't be that person,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, we've been going for about 48 minutes, guys. I think we're probably gonna wrap this up pretty soon. But what I do have to say is that the people that you spend time with make a huge impact on your mindset.
Mm,
The have I guess here's the other thing to wrap up the 75 hard piece and the miracle morning piece. Like, I guess it's more 75 hard. One of the biggest things that I got out of the reading the 75 hard book, and this it's really kind of encapsulated in the name, I feel, is that like we actually feel happiness and fulfillment after we do difficult things. And doing difficult things on a regular basis strengthens your internal confidence, your belief in yourself, and your ability to deal with difficult things and challenges. And it improves your ability to enthusiastically take them on. And so 75 hard isn't the end all be all, but doing hard things that push you mentally, physically, emotionally on a regular basis, I would argue that that is actually the source of happiness and fulfillment.
it's interesting. I mean, I have a show concept called the bliss paradox for my magic show, comedy magic show, and it is along those lines, that overcoming challenges and the journey towards the overcoming the challenges is what puts us in the direction of bliss the most. And it's almost like once you reach it, be careful. I mean, it's happened to me. Like when I moved to Costa Rica, I was like, had a very successful, and continued to have a successful business all through my years in Costa Rica. But this was a very long goal of mine to, try living outside the U.S. And we got there, and I lived, cliffside, beautiful, almost mansion, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And I was like, oh, now what?
Right. Well, that's the thing. You know, that's the
Yeah.
thing. When I hit certain levels of success and financial success, I tend to overcomplicate my life, create enormous expenses, and then drain all my bank accounts dry. And then it puts me in a situation where I have to reinvent myself yet again. I've had to do this several times in my life, where like I
Yeah, me
hit high low. It's not like I'm spending money on like completely stupid crap. I'm not buying Lamborghinis. I'm not like you know going out and buying drugs, like whatever. But like,
No,
um,
you bought I think the Victorian Fell mansion that you bought could be in that. Maybe
no,
that was your
the Tell
Lamborghini.
Mansion was a spontaneous, like it was a spontaneous purchase that I fully committed to, and it was a lot of financial and physical world responsibility that I wasn't actually ready for, and so it ended up becoming.
That was
Um,
your Lamborghini. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, I mean, I guess that was bigger than a Lamborghini in a certain way, but yeah, so it's like but I even when I'm like financially like going great, like I tend to take the extra money and dump it into things that may or may not work out, and also take a ton more time, effort, energy, and work, and so I've been trying to learn how to shift my own thinking around this. But yeah, we all have patterns, we all have challenging things that we do.
All
So
right, I've got to wrap it up.
yeah,
I'm gonna
me
pee my
too.
pants.
All
Sorry,
right,
everybody.
guys, thank
That's
you.
been episode 59 of the
59.
Tellman and Fellman show. Is that right? 59?
I think
59?
so. I just
All right.
texted Ori and asked him if he'd jump on with us tomorrow. I think he's in Vegas now or something, so it might be a little early for him. But we
Cool.
should we should interview Ori. He's a badass.
Would love to. Yeah. Be
Rock and
great.
roll. All right, thanks, Harris. Thank you, all the Tellman and Fellman fans. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Over and out.
Oh,